I have to say, this week has been one of my more productive weeks, which is great because it gives me a fair bit to talk about with you today. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. You're with Chris, and today I'll be wrapping up yet another week as Christmas gets closer and closer. And stick around till the end because I've got a really exciting announcement about some end of year content that I'm planning, something I haven't done before on the channel, and I think it's going to be great. And I've also got a little bit of show and tell with some recent purchases I've made as well, so make sure you stick around until the end. But let's kick everything off with what I did this week. There's a fair bit of it. So firstly, I finished off Flowers in the Attic and reviewed it on the channel, and the video is now up for you to watch. And you know, it didn't take me long. I think it took about 3 days to read. It was very, very epic. I had very mixed reactions about it. I went on a real emotional roller coaster of a ride. The subject material was pretty confronting. The ending was lacking something. I didn't get real closure that I was after, but the detail that it goes into was fantastic. And you know, a couple of things that happened in there evoked a bit of you know, I teared up a little bit in a couple of parts of it, but then for some other parts it was disturbing, and then I experienced all these emotions. So yeah, at least it was an experience. Will I continue with the series moving forward with Petals on the Wind as the next book? I don't know at this stage because I was left reeling from the book. But it was a bucket list read. I've always wanted to read it, and I've checked that off the list. So if you haven't caught that review yet, take a look, because I go into a fair bit of detail on my thoughts and reactions of that. Now, after I finished the book, my wife and I sat down and watched the 2014 version first of all, just to see how it compared to the book, and it was okay. I think Ellen Burstyn, who played the grandmother in the 2014 version, was incredible. What a performance. And if I was to compare her performance to Louise Fletcher's portrayal of the grandmother in the 1987 version, I have to say that Ellen Burstyn was the stronger performer of the two. I think Louise Fletcher did really well at not expressing emotion and having that stone-faced, which is one of the attributes of the grandmother in the book. But I thought Ellen Burstyn was a little bit more menacing and threatening. But not only that, at the end of the 2014 version, we see her emotions change in a very different way. So we get to see the skill that Ellen Burstyn uses with her acting, and I thought it was an incredible performance. So if I was to compare the grandmothers from both, Ellen Burstyn wins out. But in terms of overall preference, I think the 1987 version stands up really well considering how old it is. It's darker, the danger is a lot more intense because you've got Christopher hanging off the roof of the house. There's German shepherds that are trying to bite his feet, and there's electrified fence, and there's a gamekeeper prowling the property with his rifle. There's spotlights on the house. It's just all creepy. And when the kids escape excuse me, when the kids escape from the room, the danger is, you know, it's like, oh, don't get caught, don't get caught. But I didn't get that in the 2014 version. So it was interesting to watch both of them back to back and compare them. It was really, really good. Also this week I was browsing Goodreads, and I always like to see what people are reading and what they think of their books, and I came across this little gem, 100 Word Horrors, which is a compilation of 100 stories, microfiction pieces of horror that has a very, very strict format of 100 words exactly, which is a skill to actually get a story to that length and keep it at that length. And that one, that video comes up next week on the channel. I think I've got it up for early next week, so keep an eye out for that one, because in that one I picked out my 4 favourite stories, which was a decent sample of different styles to illustrate to you what can be achieved with writing such a really short story. And I used to write microfiction myself, and I know how hard it is to actually get a story to 100 words and keep it at that length, because it's harder than writing full-length stories, because word economy is king. You cannot waste a single word. It's very, very tight and strict. And I was impressed. There's authors like Jeff Strand, Richard Chisma, Amy Cross, to name a few, and some of these stories will stick with me for a fair while to come. Okay, now in terms of manga, this week I started Deathnote. I've been wanting to get to it for a while. I read the first 4 volumes, I smashed it out, and I'm absolutely loving it. The rest of the series, I'm going to space it out a little bit. I wanted to read the first 4 and get them done, but I plan on finishing the whole series before Christmas, so in between my other reads I'll sneak in a volume or 2 here and there, but I'm absolutely loving it. I'm gobsmacked at how smart it is. The plot, there is a little bit of cat and mouse and round in circles with the 2 main characters at the moment. I'm thinking just solve this thing, but it's very, very interesting, and the artwork is superb, and the story pacing is great, and just really, really like the art, and I'm glad I picked it up, so can't wait to continue with that when I'm finished with other reads that I've got on the go at the moment. Now, I was going to do 3 reviews, or 3 or 4 or 5 reviews every time I finished 1 or 2 volumes, but I thought, no, that's a bit too much. What I'm going to do is one big video when I finish the series and just wrap the whole series up and speak about it as a whole. I think that'll do a lot better, because it's not a case of various story arcs. It's one big story from what I can gather at the moment, so it's just ongoing. It's like a saga, and I'm having an absolute blast with it, and can't wait to share my thoughts about it with you. Okay, now I've got an update on Red Harvest, which was my latest Star Wars EU read. I've given it several attempts and just can't get into it. I don't know why. It's probably just me, but I think it's been very slow to get going, and I'm sure if I stuck at it, it would begin to pick up. But there's other books I want to read at the moment, and I have given it, several different attempts. But it's just not quite doing it for me. I might look at it in the new year, but if I'm shelving that one at the moment, I'm going to pick up another Star Wars EU read before the end of the year. So I'm going to do at least one more before I get stuck in next year and get quite a few done. But yeah, so it was a little bit of a disappointment, but I'll get back to it one day. Okay, now what am I reading at the moment? I am reading The September House by Carissa Orlando. This one has been getting a lot of interest on the internet at the moment, and on booktube in particular. The paperback version isn't available until next year, but it is available on digital, so I managed to get it on my Kindle, and I started it last night, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's drawn me in straight away. The point of view told from the main character is excellent, and the writing is very, very strong and very witty as well, and can't wait to share my thoughts on that with you next week, because there aren't too many reviews out at the moment, so I'm hoping to get on the front foot with that one and share that with you. But really glad I've picked this up, and I think I'm going to smash it in a couple of days. And then after that, I'm thinking of reading Bad Luck and Trouble by Lee Child, just in time for the premiere of Season 2 of Reacher on Amazon Prime that starts next Friday, which I'm chomping at the bit for, because I absolutely love that show. Alright, now next I have a bit of show and tell for you. I've recently purchased some books that I'm going to share with you now. Just because I can, and I've been a little bit wistful and nostalgic at the moment about retro's 80s retro horror, and I picked up a really nice brand new copy, because it's been reprinted, of Nathaniel by John Saul. I have not read this book since I was a kid, and John Saul is retired, and he has been for a few years, and I haven't read him in ages, and I remember him being very, very good, and I want to try and get this one done before the end of the year, but it's yeah, a trip down memory lane, let me tell you. And in a second-hand bookstore, I found a beautiful copy of his first book, Suffer the Children, which is a beautiful retro retro paperback with the silver foil, which does not have one blemish or scratch on it. It is pristine. Look at the spine, and it's just a joy to own this, because it is the first book and it is in pristine condition. Okay, now this has also been getting interest on booktube at the moment as well, and I think this one of these was nominated in the Goodreads Choice Awards as well. And we have The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, which I can't wait to get stuck into this one because I've heard really good things. And I've also got the follow-up, The Housemaid's Secret, as well. I think this is the one that's been nominated in the crime and thriller category. Don't quote me, but I think this one is it. And I thought I'd just read them back to back, which is going to be very exciting. When I get to it, I'm not quite sure, but still looking forward to it. And with this one, please don't laugh. I managed to pick up a copy of Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. Now, it's purely for research purposes only. I'm curious because I want to find out what goes into a romance book to create the ingredients that sets the internet on fire like this one has. And, you know, I didn't say I said I was never going to try romance, but I thought, you know, I'm going to be brave and have a go and just see what the fuss is all about. And it's a chunker. It is, what are we talking about here? In excess of 750 pages, but I've heard there's no real not a lot of steamy scenes in it and that sort of thing. It's more about story, about family life and family dynamics and things like that. So who knows? I may love it, I may hate it, but interesting to have a male perspective on a book like this, which no male has reviewed it on booktube to my knowledge or on Goodreads. So it's going to be an interesting experiment, which may get to this one early next year. We'll see. The latest book I've got to show you is called The Corsican Shadow by Dirk Cussler. He's actually Clive Cussler's son, who carried the torch when Clive passed away. I've been a fan of the Dirk Bit series since I was about 15 years old by reading Cyclops, which was my first book, and Dirk Pitt's adventures along with Al Giardino are legendary. And unfortunately the Dirk Pitt books don't come out as often because there are other series that come out as well. You've got the Oregon Files, you've got the Numa Files, which I haven't really gotten into because the Dirk Pitt series is the main one I've really liked. But yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into this. It should be a good read and shouldn't take me too long. So that is it for my mini book haul. There you go. Alright, now we get to the end of year announcements. So traditionally, at the end of every year, or the last couple of years, I've done a 20 to 1 countdown of all my favourite books of the year, finishing off with my favourite book of the entire year. I've been giving it a bit of thought, and I thought I want to do something different this year. I think a 20 to 1 is a bit boring, not to mention it is a massive job of putting them all in order because you might like a couple of books equally. It's really hard to shuffle them around and make the final decision of where it sits in the countdown. So I've decided that's a bit boring. I've been brainstorming at the moment and I've come up with what I think is a potentially good idea, and that is called the first Unlimited Reads Book Excellence Award. So it is going to be a completely different format. It is going to be like the Academy Awards. It's going to be a very similar format. So what I'm going to do, and I've started compiling my picks at the moment, so I'm planning on getting this done between Christmas and New Year's. And what's going to happen is I'm going to have categories. Okay, so for instance, I'm going to put a category like the best cover art of a novel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have pick out some nominees and pick a winner. And I'm going to go all out and just open the envelope to reveal the winner and things like that, and try and be like the host of the Academy Awards announcing the winners, which will be awesome. But other categories include best short story, best main character in a novel, best new author, best surprise novel of the year, the best plot twist, the best emotional trigger, the best overall book of 2024, of course, and a couple of other categories that I'm still on the fence about, but I have picked a couple of winners already. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's something I've never done on the channel. I think it'll be really good in a way because you will get a book will get extra recognition if they scoop up a couple of awards each, just like the movies. And you know, one book might have the best character, it might have the best cover, it might have 3 awards awarded to it, which is, I think that's really interesting because it places a lot more emphasis on that particular book rather than just glossing over it in a 20 to 1 countdown. So I don't know if anyone on booktube has done this yet. I'm hoping it works out well. There's a lot of work that will go into it, because what I'm going to do is, as I'm introducing the nominated books, I'm going to have them appear in a grid, just like they would on the actors at the Academy Awards, and open the envelope, and I'll say the winner for best plot twist in a novel is whatever. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of work that'll need to go into it, so I'm pre-planning at the moment, because I've got a lot of things in mind with different pages that come up and animated text and things like that, so you want to sort of design that up a little bit as well. So it's going to be a few hours of work there, but looking forward to it. It's going to be something different. Hopefully I can trailblaze it and other people will look at it and think, oh, that's not a bad idea actually, because I think some books are more deserving than others when it comes to things like the book covers and the best twist and things like that. It just gives the books a little bit more recognition, rather than coming in at number 18, I've got this one, and I'll say why I liked it, but there's no emphasis placed on the cover or the twists or what made it invoke the emotions in me, which I've already picked that one, by the way, as well. And yeah, it's going to come along really well. So that is something I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. It could be a half-hour video, I'm not sure. Do I break out the tuxedo? Probably not, but I might actually have a bit of a drink while I'm doing it, just for you know, it's going to be pretty relaxed. It won't be overly formal, but should be a lot of fun, so I hope you'll join me for that. I will maybe look at releasing a trailer as well, just to promote it on Facebook and things like that, but yeah, can't wait. So that is it for my weekly update. It was a pretty busy week this week. I was really happy with my reading progress, and next week is going to be equally as busy, I'm predicting, so might read a bit more Deathnote. I dare say I will finish September House in no time flat and have that up for you as well. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Offer up any feedback in the comments below as per usual, and until the next video guys, happy reading.